Hey, what's up everybody? Too Tall Toby here, and in today's power move, I'm going to teach you about sensors. Sensors are a really cool tool that you can use in SolidWorks, and they are particularly useful if you're trying to do any of Too Tall Toby's speed modeling challenges or the upcoming World Championship tournament. Ow! So in our previous video, I showed you guys how to create templates to use for Too Tall Toby related challenges. And I think that after you watch this video, you're probably gonna wanna make a modification to those templates. So let's start out here by going to new. I'm gonna create a new part in 1060 alloy, and my goal is to measure the total mass of this part. So I'll make this 1.5 by 3 inches, and I'll extrude it up to a height of 1.25. And now I'm gonna go to evaluate mass properties, and we're gonna see that this thing has a mass of 0.55 pounds. And of course, if I go to my options, I can set that to 3-place precision, because that's what the drawing is asking for. What is the mass of this part in 3-place precision? Well, there's a much easier way to achieve this calculation, and that is by going over to the feature tree and doing a right mouse button here on sensors and saying add sensor. And now I can add a sensor based on a mass property, and that mass property is going to be mass. And so now when I hit the green check mark, we can see that SolidWorks immediately tells us what the mass of that part is, 0.549 pounds. We can also see that if we go back to the model and make a change to the model, like let's say I create a hole here at 1 inch diameter and I cut extrude that through all. Well, now, as soon as I press Control Q on my keyboard, Control Q, we see that that sensor updates, and now the mass is 0.453 pounds. So a very, very useful tool in SolidWorks, especially if you're doing any kind of a challenge where you're being asked to calculate the mass of your model. So what I'll do here is I'll close this document, I'll go new, I'll choose the 1060 aluminum alloy part inch, I'll come over here to the feature tree, do a right mouse button, add sensor, and add a sensor for mass. And then what I'll do is I will go to File, Save As, and I will save this as a part template. I know we covered this in the previous video, but just in case you didn't see it, I'm gonna go to my C drive, go into my directory that I'm pointing to in my system options, and I'm gonna overwrite the part inch 1060 alloy. When I choose Save, and replace that document, I can close, begin a new part, and now when I choose the part inch 1060 alloy, I'm happy to see that the sensor is just sitting there waiting for me. I can choose to create a new sketch, make my sketch here 3 inches by 4 inches, extrude that up to 2 inches high, and we see when we Control Q, boom, the sensor immediately updates and tells us that the mass is 2.341 pounds. Very, very cool. Now, one additional bit of functionality for sensors, probably you don't need this in the tournament, but just something that I think is really cool, is that whenever you create a sensor, and this could be for any field, I use this a lot for volume, but for today I'll just show it to you with mass, you can choose to create what's called an alert, and the alert can be used to specify whether or not you're exceeding a specific value. So for example, when it comes to the mass of this part cannot weigh more than 2.5 pounds. So if it exceeds 2.5 pounds, give me an alert, give me a warning in the tree. So now I'm gonna come over here and create a new sketch, and I'm gonna create another rectangle like so. And I'm gonna take that rectangle and extrude that up to a height of 4 inches. And once I Control Q, we see that we get a warning, a little chime rings in the audio on the computer, and the warning is telling us that we have exceeded the mass of 2.5 because now the mass is 3.391. So very cool stuff with the sensor, but what do you think about this tip? Did you know about sensors before? Did you know about how to set them up? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about this video, and of course, if you have any questions, let me know that as well. If you're enjoying this series, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to come back for the next episode.